Hi everyone, CFL Park Hopper here at Hollywood Studios, and we're going to talk about a new touring plan. I had just made a touring plan for Hollywood Studios now that Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway opened, and that was like right in March, right before the shutdown. Well, guess what? We have to change it again because in the COVID world at Disney, there are no fast passes. So you're going to have a different kind of a touring plan. So we're going to talk about that right now. So Hollywood Studios, right now, in the world of COVID-19 at Disney World, is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And Rise of the Resistance over in Galaxy's Edge, which we're going to walk over there in a minute, is still virtual queue only. So you're going to have to get a virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. However, everything else in the park is going to be standby, regular lines. So this morning I got to the park at I was at the parking gate by 9:15, and they don't open the parking gates anymore until about 45 minutes to park open. Reason being is they can't have you congregating in the park like around in this area like you used to be able to. You used to come into the park and congregate and wait for it to open, but they don't want that because they're trying to practice social distancing. So basically you can congregate in your car in front of the parking gate until 9:15. And so at 9:15 they opened the parking gate, and we got in, got parked pretty close to the front, was able to walk. However, the line for temperature check was quite long, way longer than I experienced at Magic Kingdom or at Epcot. And so I was a little concerned because Rise of the Resistance, the virtual queue opens right at 10 a.m. And in order to join it, you must have your band tapped into the front of the park. You must be inside the park. I've already tapped your Magic Band so that it knows that you're inside the park. Anyone in your party that you want to ride Rise of the Resistance must also be tapped in. So it was 9:46 as I was waiting in the temperature check line, and I was getting a little nervous. However, it started to move pretty quickly. I got into the park. It was around 9:50, so I had 10 more minutes to spare. I would suggest getting in line for something as ride lines are already opening. And so Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, at 9:50, the queue was full. They weren't going to allow anyone in. They were as full as they could take it with social distancing and having all the markers on the ground. So they said, check back after 11. So I bypassed Mickey and Minnie and I went to Toy Story Land. And I'll show you that in a little while. We're going to walk around the park. And jumped right in line for Slinky Dog Dash. And Slinky Dog was pretty much continuous walking. And while I was in line for that, at 10 a.m. is when Rise of the Resistance went open, the virtual queue, which you have to join that on your My Disney Experience app. So that My Disney Experience app is super important here on your Disney vacation. So at 10 a.m. I clicked join, and since I am a party of one, I didn't have to add anyone else to my virtual queue. I hit join right away, and I got boarding group 1. Wow, I was not expecting that. And so I could come anytime in the hour. So you have to be careful, and you got to watch the time, because when Rise of the Resistance first opened, they let you have a 2-hour window. They have since shortened that, I think, to accommodate more people throughout the day. So I was only given an hour to return. Well, I was jumping right on Slinky Dog, so I rode that, and then I headed over to Rise. However, while I was on Rise of the Resistance, it did have technical difficulties and went down. So they had to get me off the ride, and then they give you a fast pass to return later on once the ride reopens. So I was able to do that once the ride reopened. In the meanwhile, I went back to Toy Story Land. I finished up the other 2 rides in Toy Story Land. And then once I did that, Rise of the Resistance reopened, I was able to ride that. I came over here, I rode Star Tours, and then I had lunch right here at the Backlot Express. Again, I had to use mobile ordering to do that. By now it's about 1:30 in the afternoon. And so by then, ride lines were getting a lot less. So I noticed Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was down to around an hour wait. So I jumped in line for that, and I'll tell you, I don't think I waited more than 45 minutes in line. It wasn't even really a full hour. I went over and did Rock and Roller Coaster and Tower of Terror, and they were essentially just walk on, even though they said they were about 30 minutes each outside. So the current time is close to 4 o'clock. And as you can see, there's a decent crowd walking around here. This park, I would say, is much busier than the other 2 that I've experienced, Magic Kingdom and Epcot. But this is going to be the most popular park right now with new rides. So my advice so far is be at that parking gate, or if you're coming from your hotel, try to be here with your target time around 9:15, because the sooner you can get through temperature check and into the park, if you really want to get Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway done first, you got to be here super early to get that line. However, I'm glad that the queue was full, because since I got boarding group 1 for Rise of the Resistance, I may not have been off of Mickey and Minnie within that hour. You know, I'm just not really sure, depending where I would have been in the queue. So you got to kind of juggle those kind of things. However, you're not guaranteed to be in boarding group 1. You could be in boarding group 40. It just depends. It's just so random. You just jump onto the app. You have yourself checked. It's kind of like when you get Fast Pass, or now for your park reservation, you're going to check yourself off. You're going to check off everyone else in your party that's inside the park, and then you're going to hit join. So it's just a matter of twitchy fingers, but you just kind of have your phone open. I'd have the My Disney Experience app open, and right when 10 o'clock hits, hit the join button, and it's right there on the front page of the My Disney Experience app. So if you go check it out, you'll see it. So we're heading into Galaxy's Edge. Let's go see what's going on. All right, so we're here in Galaxy's Edge, and this is Rise of the Resistance over here. This is the line. You come in here when you get your virtual queue time to return, and walk on in, and they will scan your magic band. Your virtual queue will just tap itself to your magic band, since it's tied through My Disney Experience. And then you'll head on in. Now, let's talk a little bit about, social distancing. Again, you can see they have the social distance lines on the ground and things, just like the other parks I've experienced. But Rise of the Resistance, if you've been on it or watched any ride videos of it, you'll know that it has a couple of pre-shows before the actual ride vehicle that are kind of a must. Otherwise, the ride won't make any sense. It's all part of the experience. It's an experience really more than a ride, And a lot of the pre-shows here at Disney are down. You just walk through them, like Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. Those pre-shows, I just walked through the rooms. There was no pre-show. So for these, they are doing the pre-show. However, they're limiting the groups that are going into the pre-show up to 6 groups, depending on how many people are in your group. The second time when I got to come back after it had broke down and I came back, there was only me and 2 other people in our pre-shows. So it was very comfortable. The first time I went through, all 6 groups were taken up, but they're spread out within the pre-show area where you don't feel like you're close together. I was still able to social distance. So they are doing an excellent job with this ride, even in the world of social distance and COVID-19. The ride vehicles themselves only seat up to 8 guests. So for me, since it's a small ride vehicle, I get the whole ride vehicle to myself, being a party of 1. If you have up to 8 people, you would be all in your own vehicle together. No extra parties will be with you with your group. So very good job on the social distancing aspect of Rise of the Resistance. Same with Millennium Falcon, and I'm gonna head down there so you can see it. Millennium Falcon, if you've been on that or seen ride videos of that, is a small pod. It's basically simulating the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon with 6 seats in it, and that's it. So again, me by myself, I get the whole ride to myself. I can choose to be whatever I want, either right or left pilot, one of the gunners, or an engineer. I chose to be right pilot, and everything else goes into computer mode. So, and that's how it all works. So I have basically computerized gunners and computerized engineers and things like that. So I think next time I do it, I will try a different seat. I was right pilot this time. Maybe I'll do left pilot or do a gunner, just to see the different positions by myself. So definitely they are doing a great job with the social distancing aspect here and Hollywood Studios and Galaxy's Edge. And the area up here is a shopping area, and they are limiting the amount of people into the shopping area. So when I came up here earlier, it was roped off because they were waiting for people to leave the area. I didn't bother to wait, but I'm gonna check now and see if it's open or if it's still. Well, it looks like maybe it's open. See how the one side of the rope is open? Let's see. Oh, thank you. So he's keeping track right there with his app there of how many people are in the area. So you can shop in a social distanced way and check out the stores here in Galaxy's Edge, because they are kind of little, but they're a lot of fun. Hey! Super cute. I love the Ewok. Yes. Thank you. Oh, the popcorn store is closed, so they have specialty popcorn here. It's not open. Darn. So, there's that. All right, so as you can see, they're doing a great job. Now, back to my touring plan idea. It's, like I said, a little after 4, and I'm essentially done. I've ridden everything. The park is open until 8. Stormtroopers. So if I wanted to stay longer, now I could be riding things multiple times. I cannot do Rise of the Resistance more than once a day. So how the virtual queue is working is it opens at 10. They have another virtual queue that opens at 1 and another one that opens at 4. So if you didn't get the one at 10, if you tried but you didn't get in, because it goes within seconds, then you can try again at 1 or again at 4. Or if you decide to come to the park later in the day, as long as you're here before 4 o'clock, you have a chance to get a virtual queue. What are you guys doing? Whoa. What's going on here? We're getting called in, guys. Okay, we didn't see her. We don't even know anything. We don't know anything. All right, we didn't see her. That's pretty neat, guys. Oh, and they're going backstage. Huh? That was neat. So that's an example of what character interactions are like now in the world of COVID-19. That was pretty cool anyway. That was neat. So I'm sorry, what was I saying? Oh yes, so I was saying that you could come later in the day and try to get virtual queue at either 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Not necessarily have to get here at 10. I am kind of a proponent of that idea as I think it will be easier to do the other rides, you know, because everything was packed at 10. I had to run practically to get on the Slinky Dog and and get on that, because after that the line for that filled up really quick. So my suggestion, if you're not early morning risers, just try to be in the park by 12:30 so you can get that 1 o'clock time. And then you'd have until 8, or worst comes to worst, you could try to be here by 3 to get that 4 o'clock time. You just have to be in the park before the time opens, and like I said, those things go quickly. When I come around here, look some more at everything here in Galaxy's Edge. This is the least amount of crowd that I have seen in Galaxy's Edge since probably the pass holder preview of the park, which was last summer. The park will be 1 year old. This area, Galaxy's Edge, will be 1 year old at the end of August. So it's kind of neat. It's different, that's for sure. And this here is the line for Oga's Cantina. I believe you probably have to have a reservation for this. That's how it was before. I haven't bothered to try to get one. I had one when it first opened, and I haven't ever felt the need to go back. Once was enough for me. So. Yeah, you have to check in. It says dining reservation, so you would have to get a reservation for that if you're interested in Oga's Cantina. And here's the Millennium Falcon. Pretty cool. And so standby time is 20 minutes at 4 in the afternoon. That's crazy. All right, guys, so from the crowd I'm seeing here at 4 o'clock, I'm thinking 4 o'clock on is the way to be here at Hollywoood Studios. Because your lines are going to be minimal. Now, keep in mind, it is bright and sunny right now at 4. Typically in the summer at this time of day, it's storming. This is unusual that it isn't. And it's very hot today because it hasn't rained. And I don't know if it's gonna rain or not. Like, some clouds are trying to happen, but not a lot are. So you will have to play it by ear. So I would almost suggest, if you're not into getting up at the crack of dawn and rushing to get here and fight the crowd to get in and be first for things, then in the summer I would almost be here for the 1 o'clock Rise of the Resistance, because just in case it's storming at 4, that'll make it kind of hard. But then you could be in the park, you know, like 12:30 to 8. You could kind of be taking it easy from 12:30 to 2, and after that be hitting it pretty good. A lot of the rides are inside here, so storms aren't really gonna affect them. The biggest one it will affect is Slinky Dog, now that we're heading into Toy Story. But everything else is indoor rides, so just pack your poncho. So I think I will do an update. I have another pass for this park next week, and I think I'm gonna try that, getting here around 12:30 and seeing how that goes. But I understand that a lot of people, you know, want to get up and get here early and get it done. And if you're concerned about rain, I was done by 3, so you could get here at 10, get everything done and be out of here by 3. Book yourself a dinner either at Disney Springs or at one of the resort hotels, because again, you can only go to 1 park a day right now. So that's that. Or if you're staying on property, you could go back to your hotel for a couple hours and come back here around 5:30 and hang out here till the evening. So you can just kind of choose how you want. But these are just some tips from what I've experienced. So Slinky Dog, the line can come all the way out here, and when I was riding it at 10, the line was out to here. I just got lucky and got here and got in line. Now, however, people are just walking all the way back in. There is no line out here. Let's go up and see how long the line actually is. Let's see. I want to say it says 50 minutes. I don't think that's right. Let me come closer. Could be that my eyesight is bad in my old age. What's that say? There it is. 10 or 20? No, that does not say 10 minutes, does it? It does, guys. 10 minutes. And I'd believe it. It's walk on. So I think I'm going to do it and take advantage of that. Let's watch here for a little bit. Here they go. Whee! So my advice, if you're an early riser, get here early and get it done. Try to grab that 10 a.m. Rise of Resistance, and that way if for some reason you can't grab it, you can be here for the 1 o'clock grab. If your party is having a hard time getting up early, or you're just not morning people, then I would suggest shooting to be here at 12:30 so you can try for 1 o'clock. Look at this, no one in the line. Wow. And do it that way and try to do the 1 o'clock, or then you have the choice for the 4 o'clock. So that's my experience for that Rise of the Resistance, and the rest of your day will fall in line. Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, like I said, by the afternoon was about 45 minutes. So why hurry up and rush to wait 110 when you could wait 40, or, you know, in the afternoon? Maybe it'll be even 30 or 20 after 5, you never know. So as it rains, on the days that it does rain, people will go home when it rains. If you're willing to wait out that rain, that will help you for later on in the day. So you can keep that in mind as well. So I hope this video helps you with your tips on how to plan your trip here to Hollywood Studios in the world of COVID-19. If you liked today's video, hit like and subscribe down below to see more. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video, which is usually once a week. And thanks for watching. All right, everyone, I'm going to show you real quick how to do the Rise of the Resistance virtual queue on your My Disney Experience app. So you have to have your app open. And again, as I told you, the Rise of Resistance opens at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. So what I did is I really watched the time on my phone, and when it was about 58, so like 9:58 or 12:58 or 3:58, depending which time you're looking for, I made sure to start opening my My Disney Experience app so that it was open, and this is the home page that you get when you open the app. Then I just sat and watched the clock until it hit exactly 10 o'clock or 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock. But you'll scroll down on the homepage, and right here you're going to see Star Wars Rise of the Resistance, request access with virtual queue, and you're going to see a join button. So I waited until exactly 10, and then I clicked join. It's not going to show anything right now because there's nothing to show. But if you see this, it says you got to enter the park, and it tells me the times. So, but when I clicked this and I was in the park, and it was exactly 10 a.m., then it came up kind of like a fast pass, like it showed my name, and then it showed all of the different people in my family's name. And so then you can make sure that your name's checked off, and whoever else is in the park that day with you that is scanned into the park already, you can click their name off. If they are still outside and they're coming within an hour, you won't be able to check them off. So make sure that your family plans ahead, and if you're all trying to get a 10 a.m. Rise of the Resistance pass, no one can still be back at the hotel showing up by 10:30, or they won't be able to get one. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Once you've clicked everyone's name, this continue button will be a blue join, and you'll hit that, and you should get a time right away back to you to return to the ride. It used to be when the ride first opened that they were doing 2-hour windows. Right now it looks like they're doing 1-hour windows. And the other day I just got lucky and I hit it and got boarding group 1. And so I had 10 minutes, it said, until I could return, and then I would have 1 hour. So I was in line for Slinky Dog, and I was like really close to boarding at that point. And so I was able to board, ride, and then go over to the ride. However, if I would have been in the queue for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, which had a 115-minute wait, I don't know if I would have gotten all the way through Mickey and Minnie in time to get back in that hour. And they will not be too lenient, I heard, about that. If you had dining reservations, however, and you were inside of a restaurant at the time, I think they are being, I've heard, more lenient with that, as long as you've shown I was inside eating, this was our dining reservation time. But I don't think they're being lenient just because you were in line for a ride. So just kind of keep that in mind as you get these boarding groups. You don't get to choose the time, it's random. And they go, the queue, virtual queue will go within seconds. So if you don't tap right at 10, if you wait till 10:05, you've missed it. It's that quick. You got to be tapping right at 10, getting through, and finishing getting your boarding group so that you have one. All right, good luck. Okay, everyone, I want to give you a little bit of a tour update. So I am at Hollywood Studios exactly 1 week later, and I did things a little bit differently today. Already a week later, they have changed the virtual queue times for Rise of the Resistance, which is right behind me. During my video that I made that you just watched, it said that you could get the virtual queue at 10 a.m., 1 p.m., and 4 p.m. As of today, they have changed that to only 2 times a day at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I don't know how long it's going to stay this way or if they're going to keep adjusting it. So if you have a trip in the near future, just double check on the My Disney Experience app where you see the Rise of the Resistance to join, where I showed you that. It will give you the correct times for that day. Like today, it says 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I arrived at the park today at 12:30, and it was much less busy. I walked right in, whereas when I came last week, I told you I had to wait in line and such to get in. It was kind of a rush. So today was much easier to get in. I went straight to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway today, and it was only about a 30-minute wait at 12:30 in the afternoon. After that, I walked straight on to Rock and Roller Coaster, and after that, I was able to get at 2 o'clock the Rise of the Resistance, which I just got off. It is now 5 o'clock. So I got the notice to get in line like at 4:06. So about 2 hours after I got it. I was in a backup boarding group when I signed on at 2 o'clock. So I don't know if it's always going to be backup boarding groups at 2, because it said it would depend if they had room. But I could see at 2 o'clock they were in the 30s of the numbers, and I was number 55, so I knew they would get to it. The park is open till 8 p.m. So it just depends. This ride is finicky. It does break down, and I know they have to accommodate for that. It did break down, I think, right around when I got into the park today. So it's just going to depend. My best advice for you is this. If you've never been before and this is going to be your first time, I would definitely be in the park by 10 a.m. Shoot to be in the park around 9:30. That way you're in and ready to try to grab this virtual queue at 10. And if you don't get it for whatever reason, you have a second shot to get it at 2 o'clock. If you've been to Hollywood Studios and you want to relax and come later, then definitely get here a little later and be here for the 2 o'clock time. because the park has really been uncrowded this afternoon. Very different from last week, and I don't know if it's just that because I came later or if it's just less crowded today. It shows on the app that there's no passes available, just so I assume everybody is here that can be. I don't know, but it just seems quieter today than last week by far. I don't know, again, if it's because I got here later, but part of me just thinks maybe some people didn't come either that had a reservation, because I was here till around 5 last time and it was still busier in the afternoon than it is today. So just a heads up moving forward. It's unpredictable at this point, but if you've never been here, I'd plan to be here early in the morning to maximize your day. And if you've been here and you want to come a little later because you've seen a lot of things and you just want to relax, by all means, you should be able to get a virtual queue time at 2 o'clock. So good luck.